Every wrestling legend follows their own path to fame and glory, but you won't be crowned wrestling royalty without harnessing the power of the Masters to ignite your quest. Your rise to stardom begins at the feet of giants, and the only way to earn a legend's respect is victory. Training with the best is never easy, but wear those bruises with pride. You're going to need all the help you can get to unlock your potential and win the support of legendary wrestling icons. Once they're on your side, those legends become extremely powerful allies. Enlist their help as managers to energize your team. Wield their awesome power moves to tilt the match in your favor and unleash your own brand of mayhem. So, get ready to begin your legendary journey, because it's time for WrestleQuest!
Hey everybody, new Observer up on the front page. Tons of shows. Check it out. We'll talk to you again after a while. How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, and it is Thursday here on the show. You know what that means? We got a lot to talk about here today. Not the least of which is Dynamite last night. A Dynamite edition of the show, as we had 3 matches in the Continental Classic, and 2 of them were excellent matches. One match was awesome, as we will get to when we do the world-famous Dynamite review coming up in the final segment of the show here today. But if you didn't miss Dynamite, we'll fill you in on that. Of course, we got the Collision show and Rampage coming up this weekend. And we have a Rampage lineup, no spoilers. And, of course, for Collision, we have 3 matches in the Blue League, including the return after 3 weeks of Bryan Danielson. He broke his orbital bone. He got surgery about 3 weeks ago. And now he is back. And he showed up last night to do commentary. And he's got this gigantic, monstrous eye patch over his eyeball. And I thought, man, this guy's wrestling in 3 days. And not just any match, it's Danielson versus Brody King. So we'll talk about this as well as the final match of Sting's career. The date and location have been announced for the Revolution pay-per-view. Updates on Will Ospreay, as well as some ratings notes from the last week. Obviously, Collision and Rampage went head-to-head with War Games. That ain't good. And we got NXT numbers from Tuesday night, and plenty more as well. If you want to text us here today, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com, as well as F4W Online on Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. Back in a moment. Observer Live. Green Hill. Hello. He's escaped. Do you know which way he was headed? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Shoulders. He's been here.
It's Vinny's straitjacket.
You're getting close.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. And yes, it actually is Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston this coming Saturday night. The Brody King matches with Claudio. And Andrade will be facing Daniel Garcia. So those are your Continental Classic tournament. Man, this Daniel Garcia, this poor bloke. Done getting beat again. Where are you, Mike? Hello? Yeah, your mic's not working. Reconnect. Yeah. I couldn't hear him. I don't know about the rest of you. Don't even get me started. So anyway, we got shows coming up over the next couple of days. Dynamite was last night. Friday, we have got Danhausen, Orange Cassidy, Hook, and Trent Beretta versus Evil Uno, Alex Reynolds, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker. We have got Takeshita, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Kyle Fletcher in action, which is kind of funny because, are you there now?
I don't know.
There we go. All right, now you're back.
Hey.
So this Rampage show is taped, but even though it's taped, they're only announcing that Takeshita, Hobbs, and Fletcher are in action. So maybe that taped match might change or something. I don't know. Saraya, Ruby Soho, and Anna Jay versus Statlander, Ricardo Shida, and Sky Blue. Penta, Vikingo, and Commander versus Brian Cage and JD Drake and Anthony Henry. That's for Rampage. And then, as noted, the lineup for the tournament on Saturday is Bryan Danielson, Eddie Kingston, Andrade versus Daniel Garcia, and Brody King versus Claudio Castagnoli. Now, the tournament's been great. I've enjoyed all the matches, with the exception of the matches whose finishes I did not see, which would have been the last 2 weeks on Dynamite. And no, I am not going to get into this argument again because Dave is not here to defend himself. But I will just say one thing, and that is that...
whatever, Brian. I still watch sports. You don't.
The overrun last week, which I didn't see because it got cut off, absolutely died. The overrun is always supposed to go up because, the people watch and then the next people come in or whatever. Well, it died because people couldn't watch it, okay? So for all of you suggesting that I need to solve the issue for myself, I know it's like a gimmick and everything like that, but I'm actually a nice guy. I'm trying to look for a solution.
Let's not go that far.
I'm trying to look for a solution that, in fact, would work for everybody, not just me. I realize it's America and we're all very selfish, but yeah, I could probably solve the problem for myself. But what about everybody else who can't watch the end of Dynamite for the last 2 weeks because the final quarter collapsed last week because the thing cut off early? Well, I'd like to help everybody here, not just me. Anyway.
You're that kind of guy, Brian.
I am that kind of guy.
And
I'm a nice guy.
And you're right.
Yeah, that's right. DJ's right, too. Everyone's an expert.
Well,
do you know how many people gave me advice who don't actually have YouTube TV? They're like, hey, just set it for 15 minutes more. I got Sling. I'm not talking about Sling. I'm talking about YouTube TV, where, in fact, you can't just set it longer. You can't just set it for an extra 15 minutes or 30 minutes. You can't. It's actually impossible. So your advice, it doesn't help me at all, or anybody else that's trying to watch the end of Dynamite.
Yeah, but wait, Brian. Later on in the week, they added, and the next morning they added, Brian.
Yeah, that was the other one. Well, you can just watch it the next day. That'll be a real fun review on Wednesday night on Observer Radio. Dave, I didn't see the show. I got to watch it tomorrow so I can see the overrun. Take us through the show here, Dave. That'd be a long hour. I'd just be sitting there going, what's he talking about? Are you telling me that... Actually, that's the NXT review. Anyway, Revolution, which will be Sting's final match, it has been announced, is taking place on March 3rd at the Greensboro Coliseum. That's where they're running the pay-per-view. The Greensboro Coliseum.
You better say it with some reverence, boy.
On March 3rd. It is the same building where Ric Flair defended the NWA World title against Sting in a 45-minute draw, which I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but there were no commercials. And Jesus, Stinger, you did it. We didn't rehearse it. We didn't talk about it. We just went out there and did it. That's what Ric Flair said.
No rehearsals.
No rehearsals, he said.
No.
We didn't rehearse that match.
No.
We just went out there and wrestled. But anyway, that's where it's going to take place. We don't know the opponent. But you know what they got to do?
What?
Flair's got to try to screw him one last time.
Well,
you just know he's got to. He's got to turn on Sting near the end of that match. It almost cost him his final match, and then Sting turns the tables. And he's got to put Flair in the Scorpion at the end of the match.
Well, the worst part is they
and then they can hug because they didn't rehearse it.
They'll reanimate Sandy Scott and he'll rule a match a draw or something like that. But, it used to kill me back in the day being in an area that didn't have cable TV. They kept hyping up over and over and over again during that programming. It's going to be on free TV. It's going to be on free TV, like it was going to be Battle of the Belts and syndication. They never mentioned that it was going to be on WTBS on the syndicated shows. So when it came time for it to be on free TV... yeah, it was not.
Before Will Ospreay opted to sign with AEW, he reportedly had a big offer on the table from Impact Wrestling. PW insiders say they were very much in the running to land Ospreay, with Impact making what sources close to the situation described as, quote, a fantastic, massive offer to sign him. What Impact source told PW Insider was a 7-figure level offer.
What does that mean?
I was going to say, what's a 7-figure level offer?
Yeah, I mean...
Is it 7 figures or not?
Yeah, it says on the front page like that. Like, that quote actually just leads you to ask, what does this mean?
It said it was likely the largest contract offer Impact had made to a wrestler since Anthem
They're
Sports.
Including what was to the right of the decimal point, apparently.
It was the largest contract offer Impact Wrestling had made to a wrestler since Anthem Sports Entertainment acquired the company. Well, now that he didn't take the money, there's going to be a lot of people looking for a raise.
Yeah.
Tell you that much.
Josh Alexander should get one.
And, he had said in interviews, he liked working Impact. I'm sure he had a great time. But, his what he wanted was life-changing money. And I don't know what AEW gave him, but it was not a seven-figure level offer. I'm sure it was a seven-figure offer.
Yes.
And probably quite a bit. There's some people that are making a lot of money, is my impression.
Good.
A lot of money.
Good.
But, there's other people not making a lot of money.
That's bad.
But 2024 is coming, and a lot of people are going to be making a lot more money.
Well, we went over that. Drew McIntyre, top of the list. Mercedes Moné, top of the list.
Yeah, they're way up. LA Knight.
Melly Knight.
Top merch seller in WWE.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, now that Punk's back, he's probably going to beat him there for a while at least. Then we have the ratings for the last couple of days. We'll talk about AEW ratings in a moment, but that NXT show, 659, up 6% from last week. Point 18 to 49, which was down 5% from last week. The show went head-to-head with NBA basketball on TNT, college basketball on ESPN. They are still up 2.3% year over year. And this is what I keep telling you guys about. 18 to 49, up 40% year over year.
Yeah.
These kids like this NXT show now.
That's going to help them, but don't get caught in a trap of falling under 700,000. That number, that's
no, don't matter now.
Want to be.
It don't matter now. They re-signed their deal.
Well,
and by the way, I don't know. Deal. I don't have any information whatsoever, but I can tell you that the belief is that we will be getting information on where Raw is going quite soon. The deal may be done. Triple H was not at Raw on Monday. Him and Nick Khan were in L.A., and they were trying to finalize a television deal, and I think that deal might be done. So we'll find out.
I can solve
soon.
this right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Are you going to be here tomorrow?
No.
They are going to announce
it. So it's going to be announced tomorrow?
At 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Well, you better get ready, brother. I'm watchdogging it. That's a long day.
I know. Are you really back at school?
I am. Oh. It's a long day. Well, we'll get into the AEW ratings when we come back from the break later on in the show. We've got the world-famous Dynamite report. Plenty more. Back in a moment. Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. So we had, where am I here? Collision, as well as Rampage. We already talked about SmackDown. SmackDown on FS1. With the exception of a best-of episode in 2021, it was the lowest rated SmackDown in the history of SmackDown. That was the day after Thanksgiving edition. Head-to-head with a bunch of sports. I don't watch sports. I don't know if you're aware of that. Then we have AEW Collision and AEW Rampage, which were both head-to-head with War Games. And, honestly, they did all right. I thought they'd be killed worse. Collision, 317,000 viewers, which was up 17% from the airing last Friday, but it was down 20% from 2 weeks ago. And 2 weeks ago it was not going head-to-head. Actually, it might have been the NXT show. But regardless, a .09 in 18 to 49. And Rampage, which aired after Collision, was also still head-to-head with the War Games show. And that show did 264,000 and an 0.08 in 18 to 49. So, it's going to be rough because Saturday night, there's always stuff on Saturday night.
Especially this
It's all
weekend.
right for fighting, but you know what? There's a lot of fighting on other channels with guys and balls.
It's,
If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, with polished helmets and such, Brian. Yeah, so
There's going to be NXT pay-per-views. There's going to be WWE pay-per-views. And don't think NXT doesn't hurt Collision and Rampage, or I guess just Collision, because it does.
What they have going for them this week is no WWE or NXT premium live event, but they do have Michigan and Iowa and Louisville and Florida State. And again, depending on what happens with Friday night's football, which is going to affect SmackDown to some extent, and depending on what happens Saturday during the day, those games at that night are crucial. They are very crucial in the case of Michigan, so we'll have to see what happens, but it's probably not going to be a great night again. But with not having the WWE show, I can see them being up from this past weekend.
You think so, huh?
I think so, yeah.
I'm going to try.
I don't know what the people out there in Radio Land think, but it'll give you time to check your notes.
Yeah, I'm looking for something here. Should I even bother?
Yes.
No.
With that look on your face, yes.
A terrible person you are.
Do it.
Nah. All right.
Coward.
Bandido out of action longer than expected. So he had a wrist injury, and he had surgery to repair the injury in July. He had been on track to return in December, but then, according to Dave, it was just discovered that his wrist did not heal properly from his first surgery, so he had to have another. That sucks. So he's going to be out of action for another length of time.
I don't mean to sound flippant here. Honestly, who's paying for this?
Because I'm sure AEW paid for it.
That's the darndest thing, because how long has he really been signed to AEW? He's been signed a long time now, but how many matches has he really wrestled for him? It's so tough. It's like watching a draft pick come in and blow their Achilles out, right in the first training camp before the season even starts for their rookie year. I hope this guy can come back at full, because like Dragon Lee, like Roosh, he's special. There are a lot of guys that wear masks that are, in AEW and in WWE and all over the indie scene. This is a special talent, and I hope he can get it back to 100%, and I hope we can actually see him sooner rather than later.
I hope this doesn't lead to more gravity matches, is what I want to say about that.
Oh, my God. Botchamania 484 came out, and, yep.
Was it the whole episode?
It should have been.
That poor guy. I feel bad for getting on him, but I watched the match. It was on national television. What do you want me to do?
I had to suffer through it, and I couldn't knee him in the head like Malachi did, so it was rough. It was rough, and I feel bad. Actually, I feel worse for Commander. Yeah, Gravity had a bad night. It was a bad match. Everybody feels bad about it, I'm sure, but Commander didn't seem to do anything wrong there, and there probably should have been an audible
Yeah, Commander's great.
Yeah, called it.
It was actually amazing.
Where it was like, just hurt Gravity and you stay outside there. Commander will do the rest of it.
See, the thing is, I guess I shouldn't say anything because I don't know, but my impression is that, I don't know, You would think language barrier. If it was an issue with a language barrier, then it should have affected Commander and Gravity. But Commander worked just fine with everybody.
Well, hey,
Gravity did not.
Look, there are just some combinations that are, on paper, they look great, but then they don't work. Some work. Andrade and Buddy Matthews, that first collision, it's like perfect combination together. And there are some people, even with the amount of experience they have, Charlotte Flair and Kairi Sane as a good example where something obviously, for whatever reason, does not click. And again, it was also probably our first time in the ring with each other as well.
Person says, Brian, I don't understand why people are saying the Punk promo from Raw was a good number. I found it to be a rather disappointing number. No! They added 400,000 viewers from the average of, here's the thing. Yes, if this were not football season, okay? If this were the road to WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania, yeah, that'd be a disappointing number. During football season, with the competition that they had, the thing, too, that people... This is the other thing. So, yeah, compared to last week, they were up 400,000 or whatever. You guys do realize that last week was like an aberration? It was like a remarkably, it didn't even make sense how big the number last week was. So you got to go back to the average of all of the Raws during football season. And if you go back and look at the average of all the Raws during football season, and then you look at this number, this thing was sky high. Now, how long is it going to be sky high? I don't know. I mean, when John Cena first came back, he boosted things a ton, but didn't last forever. And, Roman Reigns is now advertised for 3 SmackDowns. And those 3 SmackDowns are going to sell out. They're going to do great. But if Roman Reigns was actually on TV every single week, he wouldn't be doing that kind of boost. So how long it'll be, I don't know. But for the first time back, that was a huge number. In fact, you know what's funny? Funny? Everybody, that old, AEW didn't get $1 million. Well, that number that CM Punk did when he came back for that Rampage show, I think it was basically up 400,000 or so from what they had been doing previously for those Dynamite shows. So, he boosted WWE basically as much as he boosted AEW. I guess in a percentage basis, probably a little bit less, but still, that Rampage was also not head-to-head with the NFL. So this was a very good number that he drew for his first time back.
I agree.
Man, this person
I had
here...
a point that I lost it. So.
Well, here's a question for you. This person asked, where is Brit Baker? Well, that's a good question now, isn't it? Now she's asking the question on Twitter.
Is that a shoot or a work?
Listen, all I can tell you is this. Whether she's working some angle or she's not working some angle, the fact of the matter is she's not wrong.
And she's rooted in truth.
Where is she?
Yeah.
And not only where is she, but she made the point that, look at how much time that, MJF, and I forget the other person she mentioned, maybe Christian and Copeland, look at how much talking time they got. And I've gotten 0 minutes of in-ring talking time all year. All year. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, she also had a hell of a combination with Jamie Hayter where, for a while there. I don't know what's going on either. I took the tweet to be, kind of in a working way because it's not like she called out her husband, not that I would expect her to or anything like that, but he's been tied into a lot of the time on television, whether it be through skits or whether it be through the MJF angle. So I don't know. I think maybe she's working, but regardless of whether she's working or not, I'm sure she does want to be out there on TV. I would figure her as a competitor and as a entertainer, she does want to be out there on TV. And she's not. They didn't even use her for local promotion when they went to Pittsburgh. So it's
no,
things
it was
like that.
Pittsburgh's own Lady Frost. I still laugh every time I think of that graphic.
And it's things like that where it's like, come on, I know you. Okay, look, Adam, I'm sure is fine. He seems to be making his way to shows and all that sort of stuff. She doesn't have to be home convalescing with him. Why aren't you using her right now? But maybe they have a great idea that they're waiting for. Maybe it just is as simple as waiting for Jamie Hayter to give another update on when she's coming back.
Well, yeah.
That's
I don't
how
know.
it goes sometimes, brother.
I don't know. It's not even like, okay, maybe, she's at home and she wants to come back or whatever, but it's also, what's funny is like, I'm trying to think of like a good. I'd have to go back to WCW, where you had these guys that were they would cause nothing but trouble, and the argument was always, well, we pay them so much, we've got to use them. Remember that old thing?
Yeah.
And to me, it was always like, well, actually, you know what? If they're actively destroying your promotion, then you're actually saving money by not using them. But anyway, the argument always was, well, we have to use Nash, and we have to use. We're just paying him so much money. You think Brit's making $50,000 a year? I don't know what she's making, but like, I'm sure she's making. And it's not just Brit. It's like it's the same thing that we asked about the Young Bucks. Remember the Young Bucks re-signed, and then they were like here, there, and they just dropped off the face of the earth. And then they did that thing on the pay-per-view, and they vanished again. Yeah. You think they're making $50,000 a year? They're not. So it's like it's actually the opposite here. It's like whatever you want to say about Brit, she was the biggest women's star they had. And during that period where she was feuding with Thunder Rosa and they had that lights out match, it wasn't just for the women. She was one of the biggest stars in the entire company. And she's I'm sure making a ton of money. And she's gone. And the Bucks are gone. And like, where is everybody? Why are you paying them? I don't know. It ain't my money. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
There's 1, 2. Now he's got Bryan Alvarez. He whips him into the corner hard. Adam Firestorm following up, catches a boot to the face. Bryan Alvarez with another hard shot to the head. 1, 2. This is the most aggressive I've seen Bryan Alvarez today here in Portland Wrestling. Now he's got his knee across the throat. He's choking him, LC.
Well, it's like this week Alvarez has something to prove, brother. Something to prove to his sweet little lady over there.
Of course, Adam Firestorm with a big win over Black Dragon last week. Looking for another one here. There's a sunset flip. Is he going to go down? Yes, he is. Over he goes. 1, 2, 3. It is all over. Adam Firestorm with the victory over beautiful Bryan Alvarez here in Portland Wrestling. Now out Bryan Alvarez firing away with a boot. Action continues after the bell. Goes for the back body drop. No! Face first plant by Adam Firestorm. Your winner once, looks like he'll be your winner twice. Action continues. There's a whip into the far corner. Adam Firestorm follows with a spinning kick. LC, I think Bryan Alvarez has bit off more than he could chew tonight. Miss Rentone really disgusted over in the corner. Adam Firestorm not done. There's a lion sold on top. He hooks him again. 1, 2. 2.5. I thought we had a 3 count earlier in this match, LC. I was wrong.
I can't believe it. I thought Youth Gone Wild was just adding a little salt to the wound. I thought Alvarez was out of her head and a 2-time loser, brother.
Well, Mark Watson's hand must have stopped just short of the 3 count. And these eyes of my need glasses, because I thought I saw a 3 count. Bryan Alvarez going up top.
Oh, well, forget about your cataracts, brother. Up and over he goes.
Nobody home. Adam Firestorm back in control, playing a bit of possum. He's climbing up top. Is Rento and Otto really upset? There he goes. Swamp top.
And that one yet.
There's a hook the leg. 1, 2, 3. Now it's all over.
A 2-time loser. And does the LC have to look after Miss Rento and Otto tonight, baby?
There's Adam Firestorm, your winner in this match. Once, twice, 3 times, it didn't matter. Bryan Alvarez not up to it. Miss Rento Onato absolutely disgusted with it. Mark Watson explaining to him it was a 3 count this time. No hook the leg. Fair and square, Adam Firestorm, your winner here on Portland Wrestling. Fans will be right back with after a message from our sponsors.
Bringing the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Well, let's talk about the world-famous Dynamite report. It opened up with Bryan Danielson and his gigantic eye patch coming out to do commentary. He did a fine job on commentary.
Do you think that's the same eye patch that he had back in ROH?
Impossible. I don't know. Maybe he has. Maybe he has a whole bunch of eye patches.
Oh, like Muda mask. That would be cool.
So it opened up with Jon Moxley, Jay Lethal, Continental Classic, and I thought this was a very good match. And you know, what do you expect? It's Jon Moxley and Jay Lethal. Worked over Moxley's leg for a while. Big spot at the end. Moxley puts him in the choke, and Lethal tries to pummel his bad leg, and Moxley traps the arm. Now he can't pummel. Lethal is forced to tap. Moxley, at the moment, in the lead with 6 points. Although we'll soon have a bunch of people with 6 points. Then we had Eddie Kingston cutting a promo. He said, I knew it'd be tough, but I might have come in here arrogant, thinking I put my belts on the line and I deserve to win. Nobody deserves anything. Now I've got Bryan next and I'm behind the 8-ball. But I'm not going back. Humble in victory, humble in defeat. And then they go to Bryan on commentary, and he goes, I broke my orbital bone in 2 places, but I'm going into this tournament on fire. I'm not going to be humble in victory or defeat. I'm coming to win this whole thing. He's going to stomp in Eddie's head on Saturday night.
The Eddie Kingston that we all know and love is coming back with that gas can in his hand. He's not going to be able to hold this up forever.
And we had Tony Schiavone with the Sting's final match thing with Ric Flair.
What was he wearing? He was wearing one of your suits, wasn't he?
Man, they love Ric Flair, but it's like first they're interviewing Sting, and man, Flair's just standing there and he's not even reacting. And he's got sunglasses on. I'm like, I hope this guy's not sleeping right now. And then they go to him.
He's not on the ring apron.
And he just says whatever comes into his brain. And
it's been a problem with him over the years.
Well, I mean,
on TV shows.
Yeah, I guess it has, but I mean, when he started talking about how they didn't rehearse the match, I was like, you couldn't tape this thing again. They have too much respect for the guy. Just let it go.
Woo!
Roosh and Mark Briscoe in a tournament match. Golly gee.
God bless.
You know, I really got to think, this is going to be like, people are going to, they won't even be able to wrap their heads around the possibility, but I'm trying to figure out what my favorite match of the week was. Because, man, that Ilya Dragunov match on NXT, golly, that match was so awesome. And the main event was like a different kind of awesome. That was more a traditional pro wrestling kind of awesome. But this Roosh and Mark Briscoe match, I mean, I don't know. This match ruled. It was like 2 Rooshes facing each other. Because
hey, 2 Mark Briscoes.
Either way. Well, no, I won't say that, okay? Because Mark Briscoe does have 2 speeds, okay? Mark Briscoe can go in there and not be an absolute complete maniac going 55,000 miles an hour. Roosh only has 1 speed, okay? So this actually was 2 Rooshes in the ring with each other, and it was awesome. And the actual Roosh, the shoot Roosh, he killed him with a drop kick in the corner for the pin. This match absolutely ruled. I think this was the best match in the tournament so far. Although the Brody King match with Eddie on Collision, that also ruled. Then we had a Tony Storm segment. Does everyone still love these? Just out of curiosity?
Well,
just seems like it's, tailed
off a little bit.
Same old, same old.
Well, a lot more RJ City in this mix now. I wonder how many casts of characters we're going to get in this thing. We got Mariah May now in. We got RJ City. We got Luther. Well, maybe
oh, my God. I'm about to lose it. Remember when Jingo quit because I chewed him out so bad? I'm about to do it again. He goes, Bryan manages to DVR NXT every week. Interesting. Yeah, you absolute moron. I explained this last night. NXT, it always catches the overrun. Every time.
Yes.
Not once ever. Whether the overrun is 3 minutes, 9 minutes, or 16 minutes. Not once ever has YouTube TV cut off the overrun. Ever. That's the point. The point is, it can be done. Because it happens every week on NXT. But for some damn reason, anytime AEW goes over, it cuts it off. So it ain't a problem with me. It ain't a problem. It's a problem with AEW. Get a hold of these people and figure it out.
I agree. I have YouTube TV.
It's okay, DJ. I'm not mad at you. You should have deleted that. What a stupid comment. Anyway, where were we? MJF did a promo.
Yeah.
Total old school babyface promo. Puts over Samoa Joe as a man who broke the mold. Because we didn't have large men in main event positions before Samoa Joe. Guy's born in 1996. What do you want?
They laced the new meat, apparently.
So, anyway, he said he's going to beat this guy at the pay-per-view. He's a hell of a babyface promo. And then the lights went out. And I don't know if it was supposed to be the actual devil or just four of his henchmen. But they start beating up MJF. And then Joe runs down to make the save. And then we had, I thought my TV broke. The screen went black, and you couldn't hear anything. It was, completely silent as well. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. And I actually pushed the screen to go, is the time actually moving forward? And finally the words appear on the screen.
Somebody cue tape!
They challenge MJF and Samoa Joe to a tag next week.
The scripts wrote that.
And Max accepts, and Joe's angry because he wants him to heal up, and Max is not healing up. And then, after the break, the announcers say, whoever that devil is had the ability to break into the audio and video system.
This is a bad excuse.
So, and for those of you wondering, I ain't going to make a bet because I got to take a break after I'm like Vince McMahon when he guaranteed and then that one day he failed. The devil's not Brit Baker. I don't know who it is, but I'd be very, very surprised. Everyone's thinking this is all an angle and she's going to be the devil. Don't hold your breath.
In the forum, I believe that they were analyzing the mask and seeing if it had feminine enough features where it was Brit Baker.
My God. You people. Come on.
They're your people, your forum.
But me and Dave were talking about this last night, and it suddenly hit me that who had a hacker gimmick was Sami Callihan. Who's been backstage quite a bit at AEW of late? Sami Callihan.
Yeah. Ain't going to be Sami Callihan either, I wouldn't think.
Could be Callihan, could be Cole, could be Jungle
idea.
Boy. But I would not expect it to be Brit Baker.
I think you got a problem if it's not. Well, here's the thing. People are going to be disappointed if it's Jungle Boy. I don't know if it's Nick Nemeth, if it's...
Nemeth?
Look, if it's Sami Callihan, if it's somebody who we haven't seen before, it better be to a level. You know what I'm saying? And I think anything else is going to be maybe a little bit disappointing. Probably a lot disappointing.
And we had Wardlow beating AR Fox. You know the drill. Top Flight and Action Andretti versus the Hardys and Brothers A. This is one of those things. I don't want to get mad yet, okay? I don't want to get mad yet. But I thought Top Flight and Action Andretti were a great, fun team. I thought it's something for Action Andretti to do so he's not just getting buried every week and beaten. And I thought, man, let these guys go on a tear and challenge for those trios titles. That'd be a lot of fun. And then the very next segment, Penta, Commander, and Vikingo show up and challenge him. And I thought, actually, you know what? I guess it's possible they could beat him. But that certainly wasn't what I thought was going to happen when I saw those guys show up. But we'll see.
I hope that the Andretti and the Martins do beat him. They should beat him.
They should. That's my point.
I mean, it's not
But
even...
when these guys showed up, I thought, oh, man, they're going to have a great match and lose. I don't want that.
No.
Then we had Julia Hart and Emi Sakura. Have I ever mentioned how much I hate the house rules concept?
It's ridiculous.
I don't have time here. I'll do that tonight on the Bryan and Vinny Show. We had an excellent promo with Christian and...
Adam Copeland?
Yeah, people text me in the middle of the show.
I know.
We had an excellent Christian, and so basically, here's the story. I'll review the entire thing on Bryan and Vinny tonight. But essentially, Adam Copeland has challenged Christian to a TBS or TNT title match next week on... I'll get to that later. He's challenged him to a match next week on Dynamite. Christian obviously doesn't want to do the match. So Christian comes out, and he just... pulls out the violin, and he just goes on and on about, all the stuff we used to do, and we were family, and we were friends, and he finally pulls out the mother card. Your dead mother would have wanted us to team together. And so Christian, Edge, he just turns his back and he hangs his head. And of course, this absolute creepy little freak grabs the belt and he goes to hit Adam, and Adam punts him in the nuts. He says, "Nice try, dummy. Next week, that title's coming home with me." I couldn't do justice to this segment. Christian was so awesome, and Edge just looking at him was so great. So this was incredible. So anyway, you know why I had that look on my face while I was reviewing this?
Because you were about to say the F word like Edge did?
Not only do I get all these people texting me as I'm trying to do a report here, but I am still getting emails. They're still coming in. And we are now at August of 2020. So that's good. We're getting closer to 2023.
Better, yeah.
But every day, some email comes in where I almost have a heart attack before I realize it's from years ago. But this one, when it came in, I knew it was from years ago. But it is quite funny, if I may remind you all. It was August 5 of 2020, just 3 short years ago, that WWE named Nick Khan President and Chief Revenue Officer.
Wow.
What a career trajectory this man has had over the last 3 years. How about that? I kind of like this thing where I'm getting sent emails from a while ago because, like, wow.
Well, do you remember
really? Jinder lost that title right before Crown Jewel? Are you kidding me? Anyway.
Barrios and Wilson out the door. That was a controversial move at the time. Shake-up of ideas. It seems to have paid off.
So then we got the main event. Jay White and Swerve in a tournament match, which, although I did not see the end of the match, what I did see I thought was very good. And it's interesting. They're like positioning Swerve in all the matches thus far. He's wrestling heels in all these matches. He's getting babyface reactions. Swerve's house chants are going crazy for his deal.
Yeah, Nana told people to get on their feet and start cheering.
The devil just invaded this show.
Who?
Your thing got all glitchy.
Oh.
But I've been told, I report on this stuff. So my sources tell me that Swerve won this match. Mm-hmm. So he gained 3 points in the tournament. But overall, I mean, hey, let's look at the bright side, everybody. Over the last, whatever it was, Tuesday and Wednesday, we saw some great pro wrestling between AEW and NXT. 3 good to great tournament matches on the AEW show, an absolutely awesome one-on-one match on NXT, and a great 4-way. So as a fan, I was quite pleased with what I saw. Quite pleased indeed. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Can't for the life of me believe I fell for this one. I think you guys just like setting me off. This guy here on the YouTube chat goes, Bryan hates fun that is not campy. That is why he hates House Rules, but he loves NXT. No, I hate House Rules because it's stupid, and it doesn't make any sense, and it's nonsense, okay? House Rules is House of Black allowing an opponent to choose a stipulation, okay? So what happened last night was Emi Sakura chose the stipulation, you, Julie Hart, cannot win via submission, okay? Now, if you're a simpleton, if you're a numbskull, you're like, oh, I like this angle, it's silly or whatever. No, it's stupid. Because A, Emi Sakura, after requesting a match where Julia cannot win via submission, first off, she tries a submission, which I don't even know if she can win via submission or not. It wasn't explained. And then when Julia tries a submission, even though she is the one that offered, you can pick your stipulation or whatever, she tries a submission, Emi taps, ref goes, no, submissions don't count, and now Julia's mad. Well, why'd you offer the House Rules then, lady? And here's the bigger issue. Here's the thing that this fella here isn't thinking about, obviously. Why didn't Emi Sakura say the stipulation is you can only win via bear hug? Why didn't she say that?
Yeah.
I'd like to see Julia Hart try and beat Emi Sakura with a bear hug. Probably not happening. Yeah, why didn't she say that? Why didn't she say you can only win if you pin me for a 500 count? Oh. Well, she didn't say it. Because you see, the stipulation is stupid that you allow somebody to choose a stipulation. Because it's stupid that you would allow that, and the other person's stupid because they never choose the right stipulation. It's always something, you just can't win via submission. Go all the way. It sucks.
But never mind.
I need lunch. We'll talk to you next time, Observer Live.